Lights, camera, action. Sometimes some of the best moments you see on screen are ones that are the most raw. And of course, to make those moments of on-screen magic happen, it's the actors who put in the work, the ones who connect with the audience. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the most popular TV series of the 21st century, Stranger Things, and recapping some scenes that we later found out were mostly improvised. So let's begin our deep dive into this rabbit hole, shall we? Comical improvs, Murray, Jonathan, and Nancy's hilarious table talk. For all the dark, heavy mysticism that surrounds the aura of Stranger Things, sometimes having some snippets of the classic tongue-in-cheek humor can be quite refreshing for the audience. For instance, there's this scene in the show where all of the actors in the frame are struggling to keep a straight face. Here, Murray, Jonathan, and Nancy, played by Brett Gelman, Charlie Heaton, and Natalia Dyer, are having breakfast. Seems mundane enough, right? It's when the actors introduce some good old-fashioned innuendo, the scene picks up. And you can debate double-meaning jokes and innuendo all you want, guys, but what's really the funniest part of the scene is the absolute incredulity on Jonathan's face. Because this wasn't scripted, and because the actors weren't acting. It introduced a totally new element of surprise for the co-stars who had to react to the sudden change in tone. This is how it goes. Murray out of nowhere asks Jonathan, "So, Jonathan, how was the pull-out?" At which Jonathan, the addressed, dropped his fork full of eggs, looking like a very confused deer caught in the headlights. But since he was on screen, we saw his face process what was going on. It went from incredulity to confusion to adjustment, and then finally to him loosening up a bit with a muted smirk. John then replies, sorry? To which Murray snaps back, "The sofa," with a knowing grin, of course. John, shrugging it off, says how it was good, decent, and that should have seemingly ended the double entendre, right? But Murray mischievously throws a rhetorical reply saying, "I bet." Oops. At which Natalia Dyer can be seen trying to, unsuccessfully, contain her laughter. Can you really blame her? Unscripted romance, Max and Lucas. One of the most famously scripted moments in the history of the show was the lip lock between Max and Lucas back in season 2. Apparently, the actress who plays Max was just 15 at the time, and this was the first time she had to do a romantic endeavor, much less a romantic scene. She wasn't told about the big moment before arriving on set, but when Ross Duffer teased about the scene, she had a meltdown, as a hormone-fueled teen does, and became extremely awkward and nearly uncomfortable. And a boy being a boy decided to mess around with her. The actor who plays Lucas revealed in an interview that it was because of her that the kiss was added in the final cut. He narrated how the actress was visibly nervous, which freaked out both of the co-stars, empathizing how being 15 and having to have your first kiss on screen in front of hundreds of crew members would have freaked out anybody, even if at the end of the take it all turned out okay. Interestingly, this moment sparked a crucial debate about advocating for the rights of young, adolescent, non-consenting minors who were working as actors. But moving on to lighter topics, they actually grew really close, and this made for some amazing on-screen chemistry while the show was airing. If you don't believe us, just take a look at this adorable scene of the two of them playing around in their very adorable grocery store scene from season 3, most of which was actually improv. So, you now know that even that sweet moment wasn't all acting. It was them having fun. Exhaustion off-screen and on-screen. There's this very intense scene in the show where Millie Bobby Brown's character 11 is seen collapsing in Mike's arms, whilst she descends into a breakdown after having battled Billy in the sauna with all her might. In the scene, 11 looks visibly drained. She's drenched in sweat, blood, dust, and grime, hair all disheveled, and almost unable to contain her emotions as she's seen collapsing into Mike's arms, the haven she finds at the moment. It's rumored that the sauna episode in season 3 was one of the most challenging sequences and episodes to shoot in the history of the Netflix TV series. According to sources, it took nearly 4 days to shoot the emotionally charged sequence, that too consecutively, and by the end of it, everyone on set, be it the cast, crew, or the directors, everybody was just mentally, emotionally, and physically done. Director Sean Levy said that all of pain, agony, and raw exhaustion aired on screen is completely real and authentic, especially the moment when 11 is seen collapsing into Mike's arms in a state of utter despair, sobbing, which actually wasn't even in the original script, but was just the actress herself. Millie falling apart after she physically couldn't keep up and act anymore. Even in the actual scene, you can see how that energy being projected makes Finbray's character, looking over concerningly at the director and the crew for help and guidance, looking visibly panicked. It's only a split second later when he's seen wrapping his arms around 11 to provide her with some comfort. Sometimes it's easy to forget that Millie's such a dedicated actress, that too at this tender young age, and what a toll this kind of grueling work must take on her. In any case, she deserves all the praise, and we're here to do the same for her. Billy and 11's emotional goodbye. Coming once again to Billy and 11's relationship, here's a little literary lesson for all of you uncultured kids and cats. A writing technique that's very often used to add flesh to some characters is called hamartia, and what would that be, you may ask? Well, to put it simply, it's a character's tragic flaw, one that makes for his or her ultimate demise. But if we're to look at it from a more nuanced point of view, this flaw doesn't just serve to become the character's ultimate reason for failure, it also makes the audience empathize with the character. That's what makes people side with an anti-villain and antagonists, right? For instance, in the final moments between Billy and Eleven, Eleven attempted to empathize with Billy's incredibly scarred and tragic character. In their final moments, Eleven very softly reaches up and puts a hand on Billy's cheek, cupping his face with nothing but kindness and a kind of pity in her eyes, which was actually not scripted, but added so much more dramatic impact into the scene, making it memorable. This could perhaps be Millie Bobby utilizing her excellent improv skills to add more emotional weight to the scene, one which would mark the end of Season 3. Because in hindsight, this is the first time Billy is experiencing actual kindness after the death of his mom, which left him all alone, angry, and bitter. A true display of his character is Hamartia. Props to Millie Bobby Brown. If we're honest, this wasn't an easy feat to accomplish. Season 1 throwback, Harper's Antics. Like we mentioned before, the show has its fair share of inherently dark moments, ones that make you feel urgency, fear, sadness, anxiety, and so much more. But what's really a job well done by the writers is how they balance that strong gravity of despair with moments that are simply just wholesome and lighthearted, which makes us mention this incredibly wholesome and sweet scene, which at least was scripted that way. As the show has progressed, it can't be disputed that Hopper's fanbase has grown with the show too. Being one of the main protagonists of the ensemble show, Harper's excellently flawed portrayal of the small-town sheriff has all of us glued to our seats. He's one of the most interesting characters on the show, if we're honest. And obviously all of that credit's due to David Harbour, the guy who takes his own approach to what Hopper should be like, not shying away from putting the script aside. For instance, in Season 1, there was a scene that was written at this really nice, sweet sequence, but Harbour decides that they should approach it from a much tougher, more crude way that sets off the tone of what was originally written. And so Hopper decides to get Jonathan to man up and approaches it from a much more robust, harsh place, even going so far as to landing a few punches near his torso and shoulders. What a way to get into it. Or wait, break character, right? And if you think that's kind of crazy, wait for what we're bringing up next. Millie Bobby Brown's unique work ethic. As a young actor who's aiming to break into the industry, working on this $1 million production, you must have a lot of pressure on you to expertly act. But let us tell you that it isn't as easy as it seems. And the amount of work it takes to develop your character aside from what you're given on paper is a daunting task. Millie Bobby Brown decided to add layers to her character, ones where she could be innocent, childlike, and kind of goofy, as kids are, even if she had to stray from the script per se. But hey, all artistic practices, what's the point if you can't have fun with what you're doing, right? And this leads us to mentioning one of the most memorable moments of Eleven on screen. One which is rather a funny one, where Eleven is seen being a kid. There's this Eggo scene where Eleven has to go to the fridge and take out a select number of waffle boxes out of the fridge, maybe 1 or 2 at maximum. But in an improvisational moment, Millie decides to take out and carry as many waffle boxes as she can out of the supermarket. And do you blame her? They were free. Honestly, it's moments like these where you feel you could relate to the character the most, because let's face it, who doesn't like free waffles? And if you don't, we're sorry. You're simply a bunch of killjoys. The young, charming twins and their adorable reactions. If you don't know who we're talking about, it's actually Nancy's younger sister, Holly Wheeler, who's played by 2 twin sisters. And since the character is shown to be very young, the writers decided to not give the character a lot of wordy lines. In fact, let us tell you that most of what you've heard from Holly Wheeler has mostly been from the twins themselves. But what the twins seem to be really good at are their raw, unscripted reactions, which are both adored by the showmakers and the audiences alike. It's safe to say that these little girls are quite a bit of a pull factor for the audience. Even the showrunners have expressed their love and admiration for them, and it's all valid if you ask us. Fun fights. In that epically directed and choreographed battle with Gregory, which was meant to emulate the spirit of the Indiana Jones movie, the actors decided to throw in some personality to the fights by coming up with their own version of action-esque lines and trash talk that made the chemistry of the actors explode with a very dynamic energy. It's drama, yes, but it's simply good drama. And that's all we have for today, folks. We hope you've enjoyed this one. For more videos like this, make sure to press the bell icon and give it a thumbs up to support the channel. Until next time, ciao.